7:30 a.m. Friday, March 28th. And where's the snow? We got some wind, we got a little cloud up there. A week ago, it looked like this morning would be the snowiest morning of the week. And here's how much snow we got right there. Oh my goodness. A micro dusting of snow last night. The problem was the front, it went so far north of where we thought it was going to go a week ago. And that has ramifications in all of the forecast. But it's a nice day. The front's just non-existent pretty much. I mean, you can draw it on the map there, but the wave of low pressure that looked like it was going to be a wave on an Arctic front ended up being that triple point up there, way up about 600 miles north of Maine this morning. And so Euro for the win, I guess. GFS was the one most adamant that wave was going to come right into northern New England and it was going to settle south. And we were going to get inches and inches of snow last night. Thank goodness for the last several days. Back on Monday, when Sunday River and King Pine got their half a foot of snow and we got a micro dusting on Monday, we were wondering, would we catch up on the backside? And we certainly have here at Mount Mansfield. What a gorgeous day yesterday. And we picked up 17 inches of snow on the mountain since Tuesday. So we pretty much tripled what the front side gave Maine and New Hampshire here in Vermont on the backside. That's the magic of these Green Mountains upslope snows. It's kind of breezy. Can you hear the birds? It's a travel day. Got to write the J blog, so we're in a really big hurry this morning and going to get a couple of runs in and come back and do the full forecast. Beautiful day yesterday. Saw a snow-nado come off the top of the nose there on Mount Mansfield. That's fun. That's where the you see where the sun meets the shade there, that thermal boundary and wind shear. And it's the last weekend for the skating rink right up here. Reagan working on it last evening. And it's going to snow like crazy tonight, but it's going to be heavy. Not exactly powder, but maybe powder. Day 8 in a row of snow tomorrow, and it's big time north of the boundary. Oh, by the way, that boundary, that mega boundary, this morning at 8 o'clock, the cold front is in Detroit and the warm front is in Chicago. And it's the difference between 20s and 30s today and 70s and 80s over the Midwest. And that gradient coming right into New England. All right, be right back after a couple of runs. What day is it? March 28th. Happy Global Snow Reporter Appreciation Day. Thank you, Andre, Matt, and Scott.
Who's that? Where's Andre?
Where's Andre? He's up there somewhere. 10 a.m. It's beautiful out there, but it's scary on there. That's 12Z 8 a.m. analysis. That's the winter pushing south. That's the summer pushing north. And there's the band of trouble. And the front is kind of stalled there in New England. And mind if I borrow one of your maps, Ryan Breton. And this is the forecast map for tomorrow. 30 in Portland, 78 in New York City. Oh boy, sounds like trouble to me. We've been talking about this parade of March storms going out like a lion for sure in March. So we went skiing this morning. Quite fun. And it was disappointing that what was supposed to be the snowiest morning of the week from a week ago turned out to be the least snowy this morning. But it was great groomers and great hanging around. You, Carl, and Donna, and very fun on the slopes this morning. Now, what do we have here? We are still below freezing. As a matter of fact, it's been getting colder on Mount Washington. The temperature when I went out with Rex at 7:30 was, 16? And since then it's come down to 8. So that's the cold air coming in at low levels of the atmosphere. I'm going to call Mount Washington a low level of the atmosphere. And the cold is not going to press too much farther south. And that's going to set up this battle zone between the warmth coming at us and the cold in place in southeastern Canada and waves of energy. And boy, does it look like trouble. So let's start with the NAM high res. I didn't have time to get the guidance from this morning because I got to hit the road. So this is the 6Z run, and there's our mostly dry Friday, and then here comes the precipitation, the overrunning. Warm air is going to ride over the top of cold. Warm air is less dense than cold. Cold air is going to be easing in from the north underneath the warmth, and there is the blue and the green. That's snow, and rain, and then it goes to red and purple. Now, purple is sleet. That's one kind of ice. That's the kind of ice that bounces and doesn't glaze. And then the red is accreting. That's freezing rain. That is a liquid rain that freezes on contact with tree branches and power lines and roads and windshields, and we are having a major freezing rain event tomorrow south of the sleet line. That's roughly from about Albany, New York to about Portland, Maine. Far northern Maine, not much going on. Southeastern New England, also not much going on. And our heavy snow across northern New England is going to ease tomorrow evening, so it's really tonight and tomorrow morning almost impossible travel in the high terrain where it is below freezing. I'd rather drive in snow than freezing rain. So tomorrow morning, that is going to be ugly, and then it lets up. And then tomorrow night, here comes another batch. And then Sunday morning, also some more sleet and freezing rain and snow in Maine. But notice the 546 line is lifting north, and that means it's warm enough for rain up in the sky, but still some lingering freezing rain below that. Even at 552, we have some freezing rain showing up, and that's just the power of the cold air undermining the warmth. And it's going to be mostly that real narrow band. All right, so let's show the snow forecast first from that NAM last night. And this goes through 2 p.m. on Sunday, but most of it's happening tonight, tomorrow morning, early Saturday, and then a little bit more. And then we show the final amount there, and it shows some purple to almost dark purple. That's 6 to 12 inches of snow, maybe more, with a bullseye very close to Jay Peak. So Mount Mansfield to Jay Peak to Mount Washington, places like Wildcat, Cannon, Sunday River, probably on the south side of it, but it's not going to be actually very powdery. Maybe some layers of powder in there, but it's going to be sticky snow by especially late tomorrow and Sunday. And now if we run the freezing rain, FRAM it's called, freezing rain map, and it shows ice, and I think it delineates the difference between sleet and freezing rain. So you can think that maybe a half inch of sleet to an inch of sleet, but the problem is right there, especially around Killington. Oh my goodness, I can't believe those dark blues there. That is 1 to 2 inch of ice accumulation from the freezing rain model, FRAM. That would be crippling for power outages and weight of ice on tree branches. That could be a major springtime ice storm. And I'm saying that with hesitancy because I almost can't believe what I'm seeing there for the amount of freezing rain in central Vermont and into parts of New Hampshire, even parts of Massachusetts and Connecticut get more than 1/10 of an inch of freezing rain, which is quite surprising for this time of year. But that's the nature of this strong, cold, undermining, high-pressure system that's coming at us right now. That's it, right there at the top of the mountain. That is the high-pressure system coming in with the sinking air, and that warm front's coming right back at us tonight and tomorrow. So this is a major storm. It's been a month of major storms across coast to coast. And last night, the worst of the weather was in South Texas. South Texas reporting more than a foot of rain last night near Brownsville, with serious flash flooding going on this morning. And that's the southern energy that's going to be coming north toward New England. And it comes in waves. And it's not a major windstorm for us, although it will get windy late Sunday as the warmer air tries to come in. And so let's go to the Euro. We're sticking with the Euro. It looks very similar to the GFS, and it plainly defeated, the Euro defeated the GFS on this system from a week ago. Sadly, I was leaning toward the GFS too much with getting our hopes up for just mostly snow, but it's a serious situation, and here it is with that very narrow band of overrunning precipitation. We have ice storm warnings already in effect in the UP of Michigan, and that ice storm warning will likely be extended into New England. I don't know why it's not up already by the looks of things. The red is the ice, the freezing rain, the blue is the snow, and the purple is the sleet, and that heavy batch moves out tomorrow morning, but the boundary is left lingering right over us. Severe weather outbreak on the southeast side of that low that's tracking up just about over Illinois or so. And remember, the temperature was 99 in Phoenix, Arizona, and minus 25 in Western Canada. And those two air masses right over us tomorrow night. The warm front is only inching north out of Boston. So all of a sudden, in southern New England, if we can get the sun to come out on Sunday, we're in the 70s. But there's going to be a real thick fog bank and heavy drizzle on that boundary where the wind is hanging on from the east and the northeast until late Sunday, and then it's really Sunday night that the floodgates open to the warmth and the wind from the south and southwest. Sunday night, another batch of rain, and that low is tracking up the St. Lawrence River Valley, and then we're going to have a band of heavy rain and thunderstorms to conclude March on the 31st, Monday, going out like a lion. And then on the backside of that, here comes a real cold, high-pressure system. What is that, about a 1030 something high coming into Ontario with very windy weather here on April Fool's Day night. A hard freeze goes right down to the south coast. Do I have to drain my garden hose? I don't think so, but it'll be 32 in Boston on Tuesday night and Wednesday morning. Here comes another system, and it's always a Thursday. Yesterday, the Euro was very warm on this. Today, it's a little colder, where it shows snow and freezing rain developing in northern New England Wednesday night, and always a Thursday. A low-pressure system goes very close to Montreal on Thursday with rain south and any wintry mix changing to rain north, and that boundary is stalled over us. And here comes another system on Friday. Oh my goodness, and that one looks mostly wet also. We're talking inches and inches of rain between now and next Friday, and we take it out to April 6th, I think, or April 5th, 8 p.m., and that is the 240 hour. That's our limit, and that's as far out as we go. And look at that over the Gulf of Maine. What is that? A 10-11 low, looking a little nor'easter-ish on the Gulf of Maine for our first weekend in April, and a 1038 high-pressure system over the Great Lakes states. That's looking kind of wintry there, isn't it? And then a possible another blizzard going on in the plains of eastern Colorado into northwestern Kansas and Nebraska. Could that be the first of a parade of April blizzards and severe weather? Because, you know, it's getting warmer and warmer, and it was so warm this week, it's going to be hot on the south side of that storm. And that's another major weather maker headed toward the East Coast, just coming one after another. That would be our fifth major storm in 5 weeks across the country, coast to coast. Wow, I'm almost breathless looking at this. And while I take my breath, why don't I run the quantitative precipitation forecast? How much liquid equivalent in all the precipitation between the snow, the sleet, the freezing rain, and for most of southern New England, just plain rain over the next 10 days. And just between now and Monday, you look like probably 2 inches of rain or so. Once you get up towards the yellow colors, now you're talking 2 to 4 inches of rain as we go into Wednesday and Thursday. And look at Louisiana and Arkansas into parts of the Ohio Valley. That mustard there, that's 5 to 10 inches of rain over the next 10 days. And into western New England, that yellowish to gold, also close to 4 inches of rain. So our vernal pools runneth over. I think some places are saying that there's a drought in New England. Well, it doesn't feel or look like it here. We've got probably about 20 inches of water in our snowpack. And so I have to hit the road. I have to write the J blog. Very busy day. Gorgeous winter scenes up there. This is the long trail that goes across Mount Mansfield. I'm panning from south to north, and there is the chin. Will we get to 100 inches at the stake? Everyone's asking. I think we will. But then by about Tuesday, it's back down to about 80 or so. We're going to have rapid fire wintry weather over the next 24 hours, then back and forth between winter and spring. And there's plenty of snow for spring skiing, so I'm not done skiing here, but I'm done with this weather part. The end more is going to be from yesterday, watching, well, just skiing and doing an adventure. Weir and I tried to find a way down right in there, which is not that easy, but it was fun trying. We went right in there at the end of the and more right before we play catch with T-Rex. Talk to you again in 24 hours out a different door. Steve will be back. 7:59. We're a tiny bit late, blowing and drifting, and look at the turbulent, beautiful sky waves. Exactly 8 o'clock. Lifts are loading right now. I'm late. 8:29 a.m. Thursday, March 27, 2025. Woo! Fred. Woo! National. Knee deep in spots. Well done. Still snowing and sunny and windy. Midwinter. Feel and look.
Tip Kelly.
Late March powder day. A lot of powder down here. Come on, kid. Ooh, look at that pal. Oh yeah.
So we've added some wind to the mix and incredibly fun texture to the sky. Sky waves, a lot of shear in the atmosphere. Beautiful.
Oh God, look at that.
And cut over to our cross gondolier, do a little texture check here. Good 10 to 14. What do you got? Make it look good. Oh yeah, send to me. He skied right over my skis. I like that. And still going. This is on your recommendation, Carl. Look at that track right over my ski. Good job, Weir.
Oh yeah. What's that?
Sweet, freshy, midwinter beauty.
Oh yeah.
Here in late March.
Midwinter for sure.
Oh yeah. How does his skin stay so soft? He rubs it in the snow. He does have the softest ears. This is the only form of bath he really gets. Celebrating this stunning Thursday. This is the nicest Thursday we've had all year, I believe. Usually happens on a Wednesday. Not a cloud in the sky. Subsidence. Little high pressure system well off to our south. And here comes that Thursday night cold front we've been talking about for the longest time. What's it gonna do tonight? 3 p.m. round 2. What a bluebird day. Go up there. Who's up there? Anybody? This is the man with the plan. He's also a weatherman.
I don't have any plan.
How are we getting in and out of Hazelton?
Well, the 911 at last resort. But
You know where we're going?
not really, but hey, that's the fun of it.
All right. What a day. What a view. So we can look across the valley here where there's no snow on the ground down below, and then we can see all the way across the Connecticut River to Mount Washington, New Hampshire. Hello, from the tallest peak of Vermont to the tallest peak in New Hampshire. Oh my gosh, that's snow that just blew off the ridge up there. How pretty. Snownado, where warm meets cold. You see the snow, vortice? And my finger. On a Danny kind of adventure. I think Weir's down there somewhere. We get icicles. Guess where? Yeah, I don't know either.
We run into it. I'm not sure where the ridges and valleys are.
You good plan? Pretty as that. Weir's trying to take us in here. Yeah, right in there. Sure, no problem. Let's get a nap. Yeah, about 20 turns in, Weir just goes, oh shit, we're off the trail. It's 3:56 p.m. I don't think we're aiming for nosedive. We lost the Hazelton Trail. What do you got? Yeah. He's just the happiest hiking out in the riverbed. Turned into corn snow. Now it's freezing again. Perfect spring skiing. So wintry then springy. All right, it's the end of the day. Well, the end of the ski day. We're dripping, but it's still freezing. Look at those ice nodules. So pretty, huh? All right, let's go play with T-Rex out in the backyard. T-Rex, you got some company today. T-Rex taking his snow bath.
Oh, get some space.
Yeah, we all smell so interesting, don't we? Hi, aren't you handsome? Yeah, that March sun works on the rink, so they had to close the rink early today, but if we can get a cloudy day and some colder weather. He may or may not bring it back. We never know. That's why I like to come over here, throw it uphill, and it will come back by itself. Sun is setting on sunny Spruce, and we're calling it a day. T-Rex is feeling a little bit lazy this evening. There are our tracks from this morning, etched in corn. Low humidity right now. Should be a nice evening for grooming before the next batch of snow comes in. How about dual time lapses? As always, Weymouth, where there are clouds, and Cape Cod. Thing about the Cape Cod now is the sun is so high and to the right we don't see it as much, but we got more of it in Weymouth. Trade-off. Meadows Quad, that's where you go when there's a blizzard and all the other lifts are closed. Uh-oh, there goes T-Rex. Now he found a better offer, other people. Rex, stop, come on. All right, talk to you tomorrow. Tough you, T-Rex, talk to you right now. This way.